Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Stories: The Path of Destinies. As you can see, we are in a different spot than when we left off last time, and the reason for that is I lost a whole episode to recording. I don't know what happened. I'll do what I can to make sure that it doesn't happen again, but this is where we're at. When we left off last time, if you remember, we had a choice. We could either go after the Sky Ripper, like we could on the first path that we took when we first started the game, or we could go after something called the Iblis Stone in a desert temple. I had chosen to go after the Iblis Stone, and after exploring that option, we did recover it, which gave us another choice to make. Either we could go after the core of the Sky Ripper, or as the Iblis Stone talked to us in our mind, it whispered that if we would just kill Zenobia, then we would achieve great power and maybe possibly become the Emperor ourselves. I chose to go after the core of the Sky Ripper instead of killing Zenobia because I decided that I really didn't want to be evil, that even though Reynardo is a scoundrel and a bandit and a thief, a murderer he is not. So he went after the core, and after accessing that, the Iblis Stone became very afraid and said that if we were to touch the core, we would be annihilated. More or less, we decided to ignore the Iblis Stone, and we took the core, which didn't destroy us, but cleansed the Iblis Stone. So now we have no core, but the Iblis Stone no longer whispers dark secrets to us and is cleansed of whatever evil had been possessing it. So now we have another choice to make here. We can go to an observatory. Reynardo was able to silence the Iblis Stone using the Sky Ripper core, yet the power it gave him was intact. It would be wise to understand what he had done. The scientists at the Nexus would have answers, so we could go figure out what exactly the Iblis Stone is, or we could take the battle to the enemy. Reynardo silenced the Iblis Stone, but what was it about not looking a gift horse in the mouth? Maybe it was time to use this power to turn the tides. Destroying the enemy outpost on the Nexus would be a great first step. So either we could go for knowledge or just use that power. I think it would be best to know what we're dealing with. So let's go here to the Toad people at the Nexus and find out what exactly this stone is.
As the Farfarer made its way toward the Nexus, Reynardo could see tiny sparks in the blackness that was the Iblis Stone, as if somewhere within it, the core was still spitting out energy, which the Iblis Stone sucked in hungrily. You'd think the stone would want this kind of power, wouldn't it? Thought Reynardo. Well, the scientists would explain it all.
Yeah, hopefully we're not carrying like a baby black hole on our arm that is going to erupt into destructive force at some point, because that would not be good for us. But I'm sure the nice Toad scientists will help us with no ulterior motives of their own, I'm sure.
See? He'd trusted his gut, and it had worked out. That's what it meant to be a hero. To ignore the naysayers and the odd-makers and do what you knew was right and have it turn out to be the right thing. Well, he wasn't worried. Once he got to the observatory, the scientist toads could explain it. Then he could carry the war into the enemy's camp and destroy them all. Oh dear, he was getting a little bloodthirsty, wasn't he?
That sort of has me alarmed, the whole bloodthirsty thing, because before we cleansed the Iblis stone, we were gaining power from the enemies by killing them. And that sort of has me concerned, because what is going on? Why can't I just take your shield? Because we don't know if the Iblis stone is cleansed or not. I mean, for all we know, maybe it's still evil and hiding itself. Last episode, or the lost episode as we'll call it.
These platforms was so expensive, they'd run out of budget for guardrails.
In the lost episode, we did get a new sword. We built the fire sword, which has opened us a few doorways, and we picked up some new skills as well. Now when we dash through enemies, we do damage, and we can use our hook to take the shields from the shielded enemies away from them. So 2 useful things.
He was sort of yanking his own chain, wasn't he?
Yeah, like I said, we picked up this skill, dash through enemies, and the shield hooking. So we can do... I'm going to take more damage while dashing through enemies. It's pretty useful with how much I dash around the battlefield, and it's nice to just have sort of a static ability that just does damage as we fight.
Hey, didn't I just kill your brother?
I'm going to kill the Warlock. I don't like how much damage they do. They can really hurt us. It would have been really interesting that if I grabbed his mate before he hit us, if it would have done damage to him instead, but it just hurt us twice as much. Yeah. The hero power, or the sword power for our fire sword, is just more damage. It just sets enemies on fire.
I'm a firefox, thought Renato. Renato had never felt better in his life. Normally, a battle would wear him down and he would need a night's sleep. Now he felt like he could go all night and all day. He felt like people were cheering him on, and he could practically hear their applause as he slew one raven after another.
It seems like maybe we're losing ourselves in this stone. Even if we believe it to be cleansed, it's sort of taking over our personality. It's interesting. Let's go this way. I see we have the elevator over there, so... Oh, perfect chest.
Once, Renato had opened a chest, and a Jack-in-the-Box jumped out. Jack-in-the-Boxes, they gave him the Wiggins.
Can I not grab that? No? Okay. Well, on to the elevator then. But the game is certainly turning out to have interesting twists.
And the Sky Ripper Core. 2 artifacts from the time of legends. Renato was becoming a legendary hero, wasn't he? He had enough power to save the rebellion, but he had to understand this power, so he would not misuse it.
Right, so the game is developing an interesting path. We've got this weird time thing going on where we lived through a certain set of events and got to the end of those events, and then we're taken back through time to live the events again. Like with Lapino, in the Lost episode, we had the choice to do his storyline again, but this time we knew that he was a traitor. So it would have been really interesting to see where that would have led us, but I had chosen to get the Iblis stone and so forth and so on. But we as the player know these things, but Reynardo as a character only has vague hints of them. He doesn't remember, or so far as we know, he doesn't remember the other paths that we have taken.
Reynardo wondered what he could make with it.
Okay, I can either upgrade my Firestorm, or I can make the Winter Thorn. I'm gonna make the Winter Thorn. The sword abilities are nice, more damage is always good, but the more swords I have, the more doors that I can access, and I think that is a better choice. I'll also show you guys briefly, we did pick up a gem, so killing enemies gives us 3% sword energy back. It's been handy so far. Come on, what are you doing? Get on the thing.
The platform used a hybrid propulsion system fueled by anti-gravity and wishful thinking.
Switch the... Oh, it does. Oh, but I don't want to switch these. Oh, switch them back. Okay, well... It doesn't switch as quickly as I'd like it to. So let's just get off the ship before we get shot some more. Now we're gonna switch to...
Some people are just liable to explode if you upset them.
Watch out for the explosive ravens. When hit or thrown, they will explode after a few seconds. Use them to your advantage. Okay. I'm going to use my... Oh, I died. Oh my goodness. Okay, well that's the first death we've had. I was trying to switch back to my hero sword so I could absorb some health. But they hit me a lot faster. Oh man, that sucks. I had mentioned earlier that the game was starting to feel really easy, but I'm glad to have a little bit of challenge kind of added back to it. Because the story is super interesting and I'm really engaged playing it, but without some sort of challenge, it does have a tendency to get a little boring. Okay, nice. That was much better the second time than it was the first time. Oh, those are lost forever.
The toads at the observatory measured the stone with their occult devices. I fed it the core of Sky Ripper, explained Reynardo. No more feed blood and souls.
But the core is not an unlimited energy source,
said one toad. Another said,
there's a feedback loop, you see, which could overload the stone.
Okay, so these guys are a bunch of nerds.
Feed on souls,
claimed a third.
But on pain of killing another sentient being. If you can truly be at peace with yourself, it would not overload.
This was all very confusing. At peace? Yes, the mountains were peaceful and quiet, but he now had the power to turn the tides. He should report to the Rebellion Council and prepare for the decisive battle.
Yeah, I think the time for peace and meditation is over. Time to bring the war to those that started it. Let's go fight the ravens.
Renato couldn't make sense of anything the toads said, and listening to them argue made him restless. The Iblis Stone had made him a power in his own right. The core had kicked the Iblis Stone out of his head by filling it with more power than it could eat. It was time to meet the leadership of the rebellion. It was time to go to the ruins where they had hidden their secret base.
Yeah, I'm sure we won't regret not going to the mountains to meditate, but who has time for that? We've got a war to win. We're gonna go kick some bird butt. Some ominous music opening up here. Hopefully that is
He
a
was
good
ready
omen.
for anything the ravens could throw at him. His sword felt ready too. It seemed to know what he wanted most. He was practically sure he'd find something useful in one of these things.
I saw that hero sword or that hero door over there, so let's go grab that real quick. And a chest. Not too bad, not too bad. We had found...
Chest full of old banana peels. There had to be more. There was.
In the Lost episode, we had found that gem in a chest that was behind a fire door that we unlocked. It was a special chest. So hopefully we can get some more of those later, because the gems are really nice. I'll never turn down good passive abilities. A lot of paths in this one. Lots of places we can go. I don't have...
He'd once met a pirate captain. He used hooks to get around his ship. Oh, what was his name again?
I wonder what the hook-using captain's name could be. Interesting. I don't have the Void Sword, so I can't go through that door. That's going on the elevator is going to sort of be the end of the area. Let's just have him blow up. Oh, and he one hits his allies, so that's useful. Oh, why won't it let me? Okay, it wouldn't let me attack for a second there. I've mentioned it before, but I have to mention it again for the sake of repetition, if nothing else. The game does have some weird bugs. Sometimes the camera zooms really close in on you and you can't do anything, and the enemies just kill you. But if you can look past some of the quirky bugs, the game is a lot of fun. And if you have the time or the want, you should certainly give it a try. It plays more than okay. It's super fun. The combat's engaging. But yeah, if you're one to be really frustrated by games bugging out on you every now and again, then this would be the kind of game that would do that to you.
This was almost fun. Pain of killing another sentient being? What was that toad talking about anyway? He felt no pain, only pleasure as each filthy raven fell by his sword and the stone glowed brighter and brighter. And all the while, those voices were cheering him on, like he was in the arena, winning bout after bout.
Nice. Yeah, we're starting to... What is going on? Oh, I thought we had killed him.
Good. One eye, dead.
But it was just catching us on nothing, and well, there goes all of our health. What? Interesting. Yeah, See, that's what I was trying to do. It's interesting things that happen sometimes. It might be that if they see you, even if they see you while you hit them, you're just dead, which
As
would
for the gate,
be weird.
well, he could take her or leave her. Sorry. It's best I could do.
Please don't come down here. Okay. Yeah, these guys hurt a lot. If they hit us, it's more than a quarter of our health. As you've seen. Yeah, and it's an instant reaction if they've seen us. Luckily, they're not terribly difficult to kill. Ow. What the? See again? I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
He thought. And then he found out.
Yeah, we've died more in this area to these guys than we have ever before. Maybe I'm doing something like I think that I'm hitting them when I'm not actually. See, he hit me again. So they can strike through walls, it seems. We will not let that happen again, but here we are, almost dead. The next fight we get in, we'll use our hero's sword to absorb
Long
some health.
stairs. So he was close to the rebel base. Nothing was on fire. So far, so good. Ice walls only let you through if they knew you were cool.
Okay, so for whatever reason, my hook ability on the shields doesn't work every time. Here we go. Sweet dodge. Thank you. I do have the appropriate sword for this. Hopefully it lets us open the chest. A lot of enemies for so...
That is a very cool sword, thought Renara. No, seriously. He couldn't feel his paw anymore.
A lot of enemies for so close to the rebel base, which has me a little concerned. But this is the kind of chest we found the gem in, so hopefully we get another one. Okay, so it's energy on kill level 2. Which is not bad, but I was kind of hoping we'd get a different type. I mean, we have 3 slots, so we might as well try to fill them up. It automatically upgrades our gem, so we don't have to upgrade it ourselves, which is nice, but like I said, it would be cool if we could get some static health absorption.
He slew and slew across the ruins and into the labyrinth that hid the secret rebel base. He was surprised not to see any defenders or even any of the council toads. When he reached the council chambers, there were still no toads, only filthy ravens. Stop him! He's gone mad!
Oh.
One raven shouted until he had hacked them all down. There was not a single toad anywhere. No doubt they'd all been taken prisoner, so it was up to him to take revenge upon the Imperial fleet. But where had they taken the council? It couldn't be good that the Empire had not only found the secret rebel base, but killed or captured everyone there, no matter. He was on a roll. He headed full speed towards the Imperial fleet. He would be the fox who took down 100 warships. He charged.
Okay, so I think I see what's going on here. There were no ravens at the rebel base. We just saw them as ravens because the Iblis Stone needs the pain of sentient life being lost to power it. So it must have clouded our mind into thinking that our allies were instead our enemies. So we just killed all of our contacts, all of our friends. And now we're going to go kill some
The Imperial
more.
fleet was huge and deadly, but he was deadlier.
So we're full of bloodlust now.
Cheering him on. He could practically hear it. Renardo, the hero of the rebellion.
So I guess that kind of makes us the bad guy now. I mean, we're gonna go kill what I hope are actually real ravens this time, but at this point we've destroyed the rebellion. I mean, what else is there? Looks like we have a new ability we can unlock. Gonna go for health again.
That could be useful.
Now that we're starting to see some tougher enemies and things are getting a little bit more challenging, so it might be good to have a little bit more HP. If we use our ice sword and freeze the enemies, we can just break them, which is interesting.
No one could beat Renardo at Huckabee.
Yeah, I had, for a brief moment, gone back into the blast zone of the exploding Raven just before he blew up, so I was worried for a second that he killed us. Okay, doesn't look like there's a whole lot going on this ship. Okay.
This is quite the view, he thought.
Got a warlock here. It would be interesting if you couldn't damage the warlocks with the fire sword. Like, it had that sort of idea going for it, that the fire enemy you couldn't hurt with fire. Just to add one more layer of difficulty to it, that'd be interesting. I think it won't let me take his shield if I'm too close to him, which would make a sense. I think next level I'm gonna go ahead and grab some more stamina so I can dash some more. I think that would be good.
As he slew his way across the fleet, Renardo thought he could hear a small voice whispering in his ear.
Look at your gauntlet, you idiot.
Oh, for heaven's sake, he thought. Can't I be alone in my own head? Look at the stone. I'm busy, he told the voice. Talk later. Then it will be too late, cried the voice. Don't be so bloody thick. Piss off, he told the voice and kept up his slaying.
Okay, so it seems our personality is split into two. The other voice, the tinier voice, is probably our conscience that sort of realized that what we're doing is wrong.
What else could you
But
hook?
by the time we decide to look, it's going to be too late. Personally, I think we've already sort of lost our soul to the Iblis Stone. Now it's just using us. To feed its need for death. Of which I am more than happy to oblige it, but maybe I'll feel bad about it later.
Really wasn't making a dent in those shields.
Let's go kill the warlock real quick. Yeah, it's weird, because sometimes... it won't let us take his shield away. There we go. But yeah, next level I'm definitely going to take more stamina. I really like being able to dash as much as I want. It's a really handy, not only getting around the battlefield, but dodging out of the Warlock's AoE and grabbing shields and then dashing away right before they hit you. It's really useful. But I feel like we're nearing the end of this chapter. And this is the same place that we ended the last chapter.
Funny that this whole war had come about because the Emperor feared death. And now it was coming for him. There was some sort of lesson there, wasn't there?
Is that the Emperor? Or a new type of enemy? Enchanters can buff and heal enemies. Buffed ravens are very dangerous. Okay, so let's kill that guy immediately. Okay, it looks like he can only buff them if they get close enough. Oh, I don't think you're getting away, buddy. I can dash around the battlefield too, thank you. Uh-oh. Here we go. Yeah, I had just mentioned that this is the same area that we had done in the first timeline, as it were, when we found out Lapino was a traitor, but this time it looks like we've moved further along that path. So I guess as we go back and forth in these timelines and explore different options, we'll move further towards the end of it all.
There was the Emperor. Renato cut down his elite guard. The exalted Toad cowered fearfully. He had sought to evade death and only made death come to him faster. Renato savored the moment. And then, too quick, it was over. He stood over the dead Emperor.
Death to tyranny! He shouted. Go, House, go!
Zenobia stepped out of the shadows.
You have to stop, she said. You've killed everyone. Our ravens, your rebels. You murdered the whole rebel council.
What?
And the ravens killed the council. Yeah, big idiot. They don't even know what the secret base is. Shouted Lapino, who was with her for some reason.
Look at the stone, said Zenobia. It was black as night. Blacker.
But I fed it the core, said Renato. It was glowing.
Well,
Who needs the core? He said, and he attacked.
Zenobia conjured her best, and Lapino hopped around like a mad rabbit, but he killed them both easily.
I am unstoppable, he orated at the blood-soaked walls. I alone shall be emperor.
The tiny voice inside him screamed,
That doesn't even sound like you big fanny. The stone has stolen your mind.
but he ignored it. Who listens to voices in their heads anyway? Madmen, that's who. Renato stared at the book. He was still alive. Again. And still only flying away from burning Ubar. Had he lived that adventure? Or only dreamt it? Had he really died? It felt so real, not like a dream at all. And he'd lost again. Oh, he hated that. But he had made different choices. And he'd lost in a different way. It was the book, wasn't it? Oracles showed you your destiny. But this was showing him different ways he could die miserably. Thanks a bunch, book, he thought. But these were destinies that he did not have to fulfill. But he'd learned another true thing. The Iblis Stone was evil. It would try to corrupt anyone who used it.
Okay, so that's good to know. So next time we won't take that path. But as it is for this episode, this is the end of it. Thanks for watching, guys. And sorry again that we missed an episode in between the lost episode, as it is. I'll do what I can to avoid that in the future. But if you liked the video, go ahead and hit that like button and maybe subscribe if you really liked it. And if you have any ideas of what sort of content you would like to see in the future, what kind of videos that you'd like to watch, go ahead and leave a comment and we can grow the channel together. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, bye.